Hello, friends. Hello. Today we're going to have our live with regard to a very important update about parole in place program announced by Biden administration not so long ago. I'm also going to give you some updates with regard to ICE news, very important for those who have loved one in detention or who may be thinking they will end up in detention. And of course, I will also remind you about the benefits of TPS for those countries that were recently extended and redesignated for the TPS. So please join me. My name is Alina Shaltsova. I'm an immigration attorney from New York, but I do practice in all 50 states and overseas. I have immigrants, I have families and companies to fight those immigration challenges and stay united in the United States and get those workers that you need for your business in the United States if they're foreign workers. To reach me, you can call my office 917-885-2261. You can visit my website, shaltsova.com. Please like and share the show. Today we will be discussing updates with regard to parole in place program. I will share with you the date. You may know it already as to when the application for the program will be able to be submitted with USCIS. And I will also share with you what documents you may want to start collecting to prove that you've been in the United States for 10 years. Very important. So please join me. Like and share this video. Say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. Ask your questions in the comments so that I will be able to go back to them after I'm done with my presentation and answer them. So let's start with a little update with regard ICE news. ICE, Immigration Police, announced that no longer they will be providing free phone calls to those who are in immigration detention in the United States. During COVID, they were giving 520 minutes of free call time to immigration detainees. This rule is over. Now, if you would like to make a phone call for most of the purposes, you will have to have an account and you will have to have account replenished with money so that you will be able to make those phone calls. If you are in ICE detention, they really do not care where you're going to get that money from. Free phone calls will be still allowed, but in very limited circumstances. For example, if you're looking for an attorney, for example, if you have to discuss something very urgent with your lawyer, if you have to discuss something very urgent with your family and friends, there is a whole table in the rules. Believe it or not, that there are rules as to how you have to behave if you are in ICE detention, and you have that detainee handbook, if you wish to call it this way. And those rules outline how many free phone calls you can place, who you can place those free phone calls to, and other aspects of your detention in the United States immigration jails. Very important. These rules are not a secret. You can download them and you can get familiar with those rules. If your loved one is in immigration detention, it would be a great idea if you would read those rules. If you have any trouble communicating with them, the rules also outline a detained person's rights and responsibilities. So it's very important to be aware of those rules. I will publish a link to those rules in description to this video on YouTube. Now, very important other reminder before we're going to go to our main piece of announcement. TPS was extended and redesignated recently for such countries as Yemen, Somalia, Haiti. Somalia was announced today for designation and redesignation, guys. Please, if you're a person from one of these countries, make sure that you use this TPS opportunity to shield yourself from deportation, to get yourself that travel permit, that work permit, and put yourself back into legal status once you travel on the travel document related to TPS, or temporary protected status. If you are in deportation, your deportation proceedings will be closed either when you file for TPS or when you receive TPS, depending on the prosecutors and judges' desire to help you out. All right, so it's very, very important that you know about this, that you check your eligibility for TPS. Strictly speaking, almost everyone who is in the United States on the dates of announcement would qualify for TPS, usually if the country is newly being redesignated for TPS, unless you have some heavy criminal convictions. And now the main announcement. Parole in place, Biden program that many of you are waiting for, that program that will allow you not to leave the United States and adjust status in the United States if you're granted parole in place, is going to be starting on August 19th. On August 19th, 2024, you will be able to submit your application with USCIS if you wish to use this opportunity. August 19th, not before. And as I announced, as I shared with all of you many, many times, to be successful, you should file for this program right away. It means that you should start preparing for it now, because only a month from now, you should submit your application. Now, what documents you may use to prove your 10-year presence in the United States? This is very, very important. Why? Because United States immigration laws are sort of funny. For every specific announcement, for every specific relief under each law that you are using in the United States, you would like to use, there is its own set of rules as to what you can and what you cannot use to prove this or that qualification. And for this particular program, USCIS announced that the following documents will be acceptable to prove your 10-year presence in the United States: rent and utility bills, school records, medical hospital records, attestations by unions, religious organizations, and other organizations. This is extremely important. Why? Because for other types of applications, attestations or affidavits usually are not acceptable proof of someone's presence in the United States. But for this particular program, attestations will be acceptable. Money order receipts. Let's say you've been living here for 30 years, you've been sending money to your family members, friends overseas, and you can get records of those money order transactions, right? Western Union, perhaps you used, or MoneyGram, I do not know. That will be an acceptable proof if it depicts your name and date, acceptable proof of your physical presence in the United States. Birth certificates of kids born in the United States. Bank transactions, if they depict your name and date. Automobile deeds, and of course, tax documents. I always say, guys, please pay your taxes. Taxes is not only proof of your good moral character, but also can serve as proof of your physical presence in the United States. So as you can see, the list is pretty long, and you should be able to get at least this or that sort of evidence to prove that you've been residing in the United States for those 10 years necessary for you to get that benefit. And of course, don't forget, there are other qualifications. You have to pass criminal background check. You have to be married as of June 17th, 2024 to a US citizen, all right? But this is what you need to remember. This is what you need to collect. Also, it's advisable that, of course, you work with an immigration lawyer. Please reach out to me. We can have a consultation, can sit down and see what documents you, in your particular case, can attach to that application. It's very important. I would say that knowing the fact that the presidential administration may change and you need to hurry with your application, you will probably have one solid chance of having this done the right way. Just remember that, all right? Remember that you need to do your absolute best to avoid or minimize the chance of that request for more evidence, rejection, or denial, all right, for this particular program. Otherwise, you will be left with cancellation of removal option, and cancellation of removal is not easy to get because you have to prove that hardship, very high standard, exceptional and unusual hardship standard, or a 601A waiver, which also you have to show hardships to your spouse in order to win that. Plus, with us 601A waiver, you will have to leave the United States and get the visa overseas. Guess what? Some people never return from overseas because consuls find some other grounds of admissibility, such as claim of US citizenship or fraud, or simply a person cannot pass a medical exam, and a person, a father in the family, a mother in the family gets stuck overseas when they use it I-601A waiver. Even though with good preparation, that shouldn't have happened to them. All right, now guys, if you have your questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Hi, my TikTok followers. Please send me hearts. I know you have some in your pockets. Say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. Please, please, please share this stream. Hi, Big Boss. How are you? I'm doing great. Thank you so much. Hi, Khan. Can my spouse apply for B1, B2 visa from Pakistan? I'm waiting for my adjustment of status using EB3 route. Your spouse can definitely try that route, but here is the thing. When you're filing for B1, B2 visa, you have to show that you do not have an immigrant intent. If the government is aware that there is a spouse in the United States of the applicant who has a chance of getting green card based on EB3 employment route, chances are the applicant for B1, B2 simply will not be able to show that they do not have the immigrant intent. Hi, Mexican girl. My boyfriend was pulled over by a cop and took to immigration. And how long they keep them there? That's a tough situation. I'm sorry to hear that. What's going to happen is that you have to reach out to your boyfriend once you know where he's at, but most likely he will have to reach out to you first and let you know what detention he's at, if he is going to be in detention. And then preferably you guys will have to work with an immigration attorney to see if immigration attorney can help your boyfriend to be released from immigration jail. Not everybody can be released from the immigration jail. Some people will have to stay there until their case is heard by the immigration judge. Some people will qualify for bond. It's very complicated. A skilled attorney has to review your boyfriend's case to determine what can be done, right? Hi, Jaya Singh. What if you have 14 days left for 10 years? Unfortunately, you will not be able to qualify for parole in place because the rule is very clear, at least for now, all right? We will see what's going to happen once it's published in Federal Register. Hi, Jenny. If I'm in Mexico waiting for I-601, can I apply for CBP1 appointment? If you're already in Mexico waiting for 601 waiver to be approved, can you apply for CBP1 appointment? I wouldn't say that you can't. I think there are no real exceptions as to the application itself. Why would you want to do that? Because if you're coming to the United States on the CBP1, first of all, to wait for it right now, it takes about 300 days, as I understand, to get that appointment. Second, you will be paroled. And third, most likely you will end up in removal proceedings. So I'm not sure if it's going to be the right decision for you. Again, you can call our office, we can go over your situation, but I'm also trying to gather many factors here by guess, because you just send me one line and I have to basically, based on that one line of question, analyze your situation, which is very hard to do, to be precise. All right. How much money need to sponsor someone? It depends on whether that someone is filing for an immigrant visa. I assume so. Then we're talking about Form I-64, affidavit of support. The threshold depends on the household size of the sponsor, a person who is signing the form. there is a table, I-864P is in Peter, that tells us how much money the person has to be making in order to qualify as a sponsor based on their household size. So you will refer to that table that you can find in the form I-864P as Peter, and your question will be answered. Hi, Hafiz. Hi, my Facebook and YouTube followers. Hi, Mr. Khan. All right. Hi, Niklas. Someone was released from ICE custody with parole. He came illegally and he was apprehended by customs on the American soil. They gave me this paper that says interim notice authorizing parole. All right. What our question? Can I apply for green card in the United States? Can he apply for the green card in the United States, or he will have to travel and come back? Since he married to a US citizen, it depends on the parole type. A person may be released from immigration jail with various types of paroles. If it is 212D5 parole, then generally speaking, the person should be adjustable based on the marriage to a US citizen. Okay. Hi, Abby. Thank you. I have an EB6 green card since 2023. I live in St. Petersburg, Florida. Congratulations. All right, there is no question here. Hi, Farouk. Hi, Malik. All right. Hi, Alina. Hope all is well. Do you really think the application for work visa for overstayed dreamers will also come out at the end of summer? It's the one that was announced in June. Yes, I do think so. I hope it will be. I understand what you're speaking about. It's that rule that says that the dreamers should be allowed to have easy time qualifying for work visas. Hopefully correct. It will be announced as well around the same time. Yes. Well, we hope so, right? I mean, we can never truly know unless and until the rule is published, but most likely, yes. All right. Hi, Omar. Hi, Kushal. Hi, Kushal. That's a very important question that many of you are interested in. If Trump wins, what will happen to immigration rules? If Trump wins, immigration rules, first of all, will not be changed at once. It's not possible to do that in the United States. Also, immigration is a very complex area of law in the United States. It consists of various types of rules. The laws that must be passed by the Congress, executive actions, decisions of the courts, and regulations themselves. While administration can relatively easy change executive actions and regulations, it's not decisions. So those types of immigration regulations that are performed by executive actions and regulations may be changed when Trump comes into the office. For some of them, special announcement must be made. Actually, for the majority of them, so-called notice have to be provided. For some of them, to change some of them, not only notice, but also justification must be provided. Knowing all that, I would say that it will not be fast for new administration to change the rules that established by the previous administration. You will have about 6 months, okay, under the same rules, I would say. Alexander, hi, Alina, please advise. Currently in removal proceedings with a pending I-130 from U.S. citizen spouse. I-130 has been pending for 1.5 years. Would you recommend to sue using writ of mandamus? No, I would not. It will be useless. Recently, there was a lawsuit by a gentleman who was suing USCIS for not having asylum interview for 4 years, and the lawsuit was denied by the judge. I would not recommend doing that. But what I would recommend you to do, perhaps, is to see if the prosecutor would agree to close the case in immigration court so that you can potentially file for adjustment of status with USCIS as well, if it's possible. Hi, Ba. Hi. Can one file for Biden parole, been married for 15 years, been in the United States for 22 years, came with a visa, but unfortunately currently under deportation? From what I gathered from Q&A on USCIS website, it should be possible. All right, it should be possible. Technically, I'm not sure how exactly it will be done. You may have to file for administrative closure first or termination of your proceedings. But also remember, to qualify for parole in place, you will have to show that you don't have heavy criminal convictions, right? So what you described to me signals me that you were placed in removal proceedings for some reason, and something's going on there. What is going on? Have you had your green card previously, but now you're in removal proceedings because the government is trying to take it away? It seems to me that sort of situation. I may be wrong, just judging by the length of your stay and length of your marriage, and the fact that it seems that you entered previously legally, it would tell me that you should have been adjusted already, but something is in a way, and perhaps it's a criminal stuff. How is here? Hi, in VAWA EAD and IP transferred from Nebraska to Vermont, but in Nebraska it takes 3 months to approve, but in Vermont it takes 8 months. So why? Why different allocations have different processing times? Well, I guess it depends on how well they work and the ability to work well with resources that they have and the caseload. That's why it was transferred, I do not know. I wouldn't be able to tell you that, unfortunately. Let me take a couple more questions from my TikTok followers. What is the odds of getting VAWA approved if I've been deported? That's a great question. VAWA usually is not connected to your deportation proceedings, qualifications for VAWA itself, right? Unless there was some criminal conduct there, and then you will not be able to satisfy the requirement of good moral character. So I won't be able to precisely answer your question, but I have some good news for you. If you've been already physically deported and have a deportation order, and your VAWA is approved, and this is extremely important, you still will be able to reopen your removal proceedings, because the departure bar that usually applies in situations where a person wants to file a motion to reopen once they left the United States does not apply to VAWA cases. That's a very important piece of information. You're not going to meet this or encounter this piece of information easily without paying hundreds of dollars for immigration advice to immigration lawyers. Not every lawyer even knows about that. So departure bar does not apply to VAWA beneficiaries. Now you know. Why? Because you happened to join my live stream today, or you watched it in recording, and now you are going to have that information. Well, guys, today is going to be rather short, about 25 minutes, because it's a Friday night and I have to hurry up for very late family dinner. But I wanted to share with you good news. I wanted to give you this update. I wanted to point you in the right direction. I wanted to give you a little bit more information than the typical immigration lawyer does during their life, because I want you to be prepared. I want you to use this opportunity to better your life and get that immigration status fixed. And hopefully you're going to do just that. So thank you very much for watching. Please sign up for my channels, like and share the streams. Don't forget to join me next week for live updates, and I hope to see you soon.